Yeah, welcome everybody to the press conference, DTM round 9 of the 2025 season, and we have our 3 quickest drivers from today's race here on the podium. So, winner is Jack, new championship leader Aitken for Emil Frey Ferrari. P2 goes to Ben Green with his first ever DTM podium, also Emil Frey Ferrari, and P3 goes to Ricardo Feller, Land Motorsport Audi. First podium for Ricky this season, and the first ever DTM podium for Land Motorsport. So congrats. I think there was a really great motor race which we saw today. Jack, tell us a little bit from your side. So. You won already at Lausitzring. It's your second victory this season. Lausitzring was not so busy as today, so that was the exact opposite. There was a really nice battle in the front.
Yeah, I was happy to get away relatively clean on the start, and pace was good in the first stint. But then we went quite deep in the pit window, quite late, and to be honest, Ricky was not really on the radar for me, and when they said you're going to be fighting with him on the pit exit, I was a bit surprised. And for sure, I came out of the box and he was pretty much straight away in the mirrors. So, you know, I held him for a few corners, but then he managed to get by on the back straight. And luckily, with the much fresher tires, I was able to catch him again quite quickly, and we had a nice battle of going side by side a few corners, and yeah, it was good fun, but managed to get past. And then just trying to get away from the chaos behind. You know, me and Ben managed to make a little bit of a gap, but it was really tough to make the gap and yeah, stay away from those behind us.
Yeah, competition was really strong there. Also, it seemed you had a little bit of an edge over Ricky. So was it the fresher tires, or was it just that your car was a little bit quicker?
I think for sure the tires would have helped. I mean, we were like 18 laps fresher on the tire than Ricky, so it makes a big difference. And especially the later you go in the stint, the worse it gets for them. So. This was helping a lot, but you know, controlling the tire is not easy. It's very warm today, and yeah, we were really full push, and it was nice to see that we had this little buffer that we could stay safe.
It looked like it was a really big advantage to have 2 Emil Frey racing cars in the front. So did you speak to each other before the race about tactics, about strategy?
I mean, Thierry and I spoke a little bit, Ben as well, just about turn 1 to try and keep it quite clean. And, you know, you cannot really plan these things a lot. It's always tough. So we just said we keep it sensible. At the end, we're also racing, and we know things happen. But, yeah, it was really nice to see Ben there also and have him in the mirrors instead of somebody else. And he was staying close to me the whole time, but just managed to, you know, was struggling a bit in the dirty air. So no, it was nice. We didn't really speak anything else before the race, but good to see him there.
So Ferrari was quick in qualifying with great performance of all the 3 cars. You have here the strongest performance of the entire season so far. So what makes the Ferrari so quick here? You got a little bit more weight for the race, but what are the key factors that makes your car so quick here?
I think over the years we were consistently in the top 10, around, you know, the top 5 places, and it's not so hard on the brakes, which is maybe not our specialty. You know, it's a lot of flowing corners, sequences, and yeah, we are just always quite okay here. This year it seems even better. We had a test here 1 week ago, which went very well, and it let us start the weekend on the right foot. But yeah, we got quite a big hit before the race, the weight and the boost as well. So. We were hanging on to try to protect the lead that we had, but it was not easy. We know the Ferrari is always good over 1 lap in the qualifying, but I think tomorrow will be much more tough for us.
So with this victory today, you are the new championship leader. So Jack Aitken leads DTM. How does that sound?
It sounds pretty good, yeah, but it's a long way to go. And especially in DTM, more than any other series in 1 weekend can completely change. So we keep the same approach, and it's nice to see it obviously on the leaderboard. But yeah, we can change very quick.
Okay, thank you, Jack. Then moving on to P2. Ben Green, so first ever DTM podium. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's a great result. Very happy for the team. Everyone's been working very hard, and yeah, we've had an uphill season after a good start in Oschersleben, so very happy to be back at the front and challenging Jack for the win.
So, and there was a hard-fought race. There was not a given P2. There was really an earned P2. So, tell us a little bit about you managed that starting from P4.
Yeah, I mean, I looked for the big gap on turn 1 on the outside and found it, so I could attack the front guys already. And then with the water or oil on the track in the first 2 laps, we could do some more racing as well to keep with the front guys. Obviously, there was the long red flag and then the restart. But we had good pace. You know, the car was really strong. I think you can't underestimate the effort Emil Freya putting in to give us a really good car. And you can see in qualifying the performance was really strong from everyone. So yeah, really happy to give the team this result.
So one thing is for sure that your battle with Marco Mittmann going through to the chicane will certainly be one of the scenes of the season, so which we will quite see very often in the winter time, because there was an amazing battle. So describe a little bit that, because that yeah, really needed some so, I don't know the English word, but you will know it.
Yeah, no, it was good racing, I would say. I was happy to get the move done in the chicane, but it started in the previous corner. Yeah. Marco left a bit of room, and I went for the gap. And even though he tried to move in the braking zone for turn 7, I still got up the inside, and we were then 2 by 2 into the chicane. And yeah, I'm fortunate to get a warning flag for this move, which I think is just normal racing in DTM, but it is how it is. So very happy to be on the podium and to get the result.
So your family is here this weekend from the UK. Seems they're bringing you luck, or?
Yeah, they came to a few races already this year, but
okay.
yeah, I think it's more the hard work. So we'll put it to that.
Okay, thank you. Then moving on to P3, Ricky, first time on the podium this season. Usually, we know that you are not the biggest fan of press conferences, but today isn't that bad to be here, or what would you say?
Yeah, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this room, because been here quite some times in other championships and in the 24 hours races. Yeah, it was a good day, I have to say. Like, I was not expecting it to be up there somehow, but I think we just absolutely maximized our package. We risked something on the strategy. Nobody had us on the radar. Nobody was reacting on us, and just went well. In the end, yeah, it was clear that I could not keep the lead. Because of pure pace, obviously also because of the tires, like Jack said before, we were, yeah, quite, yeah, my rear tires were quite done already when we started fighting. So of course he has a big advantage, but already in quali we could see that we just don't have the pace to fight for the top. So then it feels even better to sit here today.
You started from P11, so and then you could challenge Jack for the lead. So how did you do that in the first part of the race? What was the key to move to the lead?
Well, I was just in the pack fighting with, had a good fight with Marco actually in the first stint. Sorry, had a good fight with Marco in the first stint. And then we just, yeah, as soon as the pit stop window opened, we boxed. And then, yeah, as nobody was reacting on me, I was purely in clean air and could just do fast lap times, use the peak of the tire. And suddenly, yeah, we were up there.
Then you approached the chicane and you came a little bit on the dirt, or you had a brake lock up, or what happened there?
No, I think I touched the curb or even the grass a bit. Need to rewatch it, but yeah, try to use every millimeter of the track. Maybe I used a bit too much. Okay, and then the two Ferrari were all over you. So coming from the left, coming from the right. So how was that? Yeah, I mean, it was clear when I looked in the mirror how fast they were catching me that it will be maybe not a too long fight, but it was okay. I just tried to not lose too much time somehow, because there was also Marco behind, and we all know the BMW is very strong on the straights. So that's not the car you want to have behind when you're fighting for the last podium place. But I think in the end it went quite well. I was actually very worried about Peppa in the end, because he was also a lot quicker than me. But luckily we just managed it in the end to not do any mistakes after touching the grass there, and then just brought it home, luckily.
Thank you, Ricky. Then I think we got a few questions here from Sven.
Yeah, congrats to all three of you. Question also to all three of you. There were some discussions now about driving standards. Also, Marco Wittmann was not very happy about some things. How do you rate the driving standards in DTM right now, and especially in this race? Maybe Jack can start.
I think it's always hard to give an impression straight away after the race, also not having watched it on TV. I have my experience from the race, which I think was, the guy who finishes first always thinks that it's hard but fair racing. But it's always a very fine balance. We know in DTM we want really, really tough racing that's good for the fans. And then it's very, very quickly moving into slightly dirty racing from there. So it's very tough. I think everybody on the grid wants to have a good show for the fans, and we are talking about it in the driver briefing quite often. I don't really want to say more without going back and watching the highlights, but I gather there was a lot going on. So yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, of course, I need to watch it back, like Jack said as well. But to me, we all have to give racing room, and I don't feel like I'm always given that on track sometimes. So I think it's not about pointing the finger at any individual drivers or any individual drivers complaining and saying it's not right. I think everyone needs to give more respect, and then it will be cleaner. But of course, it's DTM, so everyone expects tough racing. But for sure, I would like to review it and see why there were penalties being given. It would be interesting.
Ricky?
Honestly, they summarized it very nice. I have nothing to add.
Yeah, question for Ricky. Today in this race you were even having a chance to win it. In the end, it didn't really, it was not really possible in the end. What do you think was the reason? Was there no chance in terms of the pace against the Ferraris?
Yeah, like I said before, it's two things. On one hand, for sure, the tire, that didn't help. But then also, we were lacking a bit of pace, for sure, that we could see already in qualifying. Somehow all cars got changed from BOP, but not us, somehow. I don't know. We didn't have the pace to win today, for sure not.
Mm. Maybe you can also talk us through the season a little bit. You always showed the pace, especially in qualifying. You also had some tough times, but now finally you are back on the podium. It must feel really well, even though you didn't manage to win.
Oh, it feels really good. The season was not easy so far. I mean, like we all know, it was a very last-minute call, and a lot of work for the team. But we have a very strong crew, and I think this we could see today. Like the progress is there. The pace was more or less okay from the beginning, to be honest, but we just didn't manage to convert it in results. Now we finally did. We had a good pit stop today. We had a perfect strategy, I would say. So they are doing a really, really good job, and I think to get the first DTM podium for a new team after, 5 weekends now, 4 or 5 weekends, for sure not too bad.
Yeah, there was a lot of oil on the track. That was also the reason for the red flag. Does anybody of you know what was exactly the reason, and do you know in which part of the track, or was it all over the place?
I don't know who was dropping the oil, but yeah, it was all in Sector 1 and a little bit going to Sector 2. It was quite a lot, even. But I don't know, they told me it was not oil, but it was water, which I don't know. It was there for quite a long time.
Yeah, and one final one for all three of you. There was an idea of Norbert Haug, who of course was the Mercedes Motorsports director in the past, to change the format of DTM. His idea was to have only one free practice session, to have a qualifying session on Saturday at lunchtime, more or less, 10 minutes only, and to have a reverse grid on Sunday, also to have a bit less run time in terms of sustainability. Maybe all three of you can tell what you think about that idea. Maybe Jack can start.
Reverse grid is always quite a controversial one because you are rewarding the guys not doing so well. So for sure it's entertaining, but I know not every fan wants that. Yeah, the racing will be a bit more spectacular, but probably it also causes more crashes, more chaos. Yeah, you know, it's for DTM to decide what direction they prefer. And on the less running, yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I think already we are quite restricted, to be honest. We already have a testing ban that is taking away quite a lot of kilometers. So for sure it's less expensive for the teams. You put less mileage, less tires, less fuel, and we are always going in that direction. But also on the weekend, I think the fans would like to see the cars on track. So I would be a bit careful about that during the race weekend, personally.
Ben?
Yeah, glad Jack answered that question first. I think, yeah, like Jack said, it's kind of up to the organisers, but I think they have to think about the sustainability of the championship. If we start doing reverse grid races and there's chaos, crash damage, and maybe some cars not even racing in the main race because they're damaged and out for the weekend, this would not be good, I think, for the championship. So, not that it's the worst idea, but I'm not sure it's maybe the best direction to go in for the long-term sustainability of DTM.
Ricky?
Yeah, also on this one I have the same opinion. Not really a fan of reverse grids. I think it would make the races quite chaotic. And yeah, I mean, sustainability is a big topic, but in the end we still want to have cars on track. We want to do motorsport. And like Jack said, we are already very limited on driving time. So yeah, I think it's difficult to reduce that even more.
Okay, do we have more questions here from the floor? No? Then thank you, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your beautiful afternoon here at Nürburgring. Thank you, everybody.